Hello again, YouTubers. This is Merrix again with a new video game review. This one is going to be of a series, technically a trilogy, whatever you want to call it. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3. Did not pick any of these up. I borrowed them from a cousin of mine so I can play them all through again. Beat them each day, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. First one to beat within maybe 4 to 5 hours. Second one maybe an hour, 2 hours more. A little bit longer than the second one. This review, I want to review each one, score each one, then give us overall score. So, Modern Warfare 1. Start off as playing a character named Soap, sort of. Okay, you play as someone else first. You play as Jackson, I believe his name is. It's hard for me to keep up with all the names. But he's a U.S. Marine who needs to catch al-Assad after he murders the Iraqi president. Israeli president? No. Iran president. Something like that. And Jackson's squad, he's technically a part of a squad, it's not his squad, go to try and capture him. Then a couple levels later, his squad and everybody near the impact zone is murdered by a nuclear bomb going off. Technically, Jackson survives the initial blast, but dies minutes later. Next other person, Soap, who is throughout the entire series. I like the character. You know, at first you don't even get to see him. He doesn't talk. Cool character. He and Price are after, of course, al-Assad, who they end up finding. They are the ones that end up finding al-Assad, getting information from him, and Price just kills him. Yes, if anyone has not played the game, sorry. The game's been out since, what year? 2007. So if you haven't figured it out, or played the game yet, that's your own fault. You're watching this video, you're going to have spoilers, even from the latest one. Anyway, they get information and they have to now find the next person, who is someone that Price shot his arm off, and Price has to go after him again. You know, sometimes I think, when I played the sniper level, where you actually play as Price and shoot the guy's arm off, I was aiming for the guy's head. No, it went directly to his head, his arm popped off. So it's like, really, you can't change the ending. But, the other American, no, Soap is still Soap. Basically, you play Soap after Jackson and them die. I think you play like one other American character after that. Soap and them have to find this other guy's son to gain information from him, but when you corner the son puts a gun to his head, fires, kills himself. So then you're basically lost again. But they get another lead, they find the guy, they finally end his reign of terror. Okay, I would give number 4, Call of Duty 4, technically 4, Modern Warfare 1, I would give it a 8 out of 10. I like first-person shooters. It was a good idea when they first started doing the Modern Warfares, you know, because Call of Duty was mainly World War II. I don't know if they did 1. I didn't start becoming a fan until number 4. You know, I played all the games in between too. Major problems, it was short. Not too many weapon varieties. You know, it was the beginning of it. There's like 2 or 3 different kind of scopes next to sniper rifle scopes. I didn't have huge problems with it other than the short. Okay. Let's skip to the next one. Modern Warfare 2. It takes place 5 years after the first one, which the first one takes place in 2011. So 4 years after the game comes out in 2007, so it takes place 4 years later. Basically, last year. Modern Warfare 2 takes place 2016, which you don't find out. Well, you might find out in the second one, I don't remember. You find out in number 3 what year the year actually was. Start off as playing Private Allen and basically just going through a town, wiping everybody out. And then Shepard, ironically his name is Shepard, recruits him to join this other guy named Makarov, who they think is secretly plotting to do something. So, you go through the game as Private Allen for 2 levels. The second level you see him in, this Private Allen, is a level you can actually skip, and they actually give you a warning at the beginning of the level. The problem is, they go into this Russian airport, Makarov and his men massacre people. When I first played the game, I played through the level and did exactly what I thought I needed to do. After that, I'm like, I might not want to do this again. This time around, I didn't do anything until the police started shooting at me. That's basically when I started. I read online that level is actually banned in Russia. The no Russian level is actually banned in Russia. Obvious reasons. I understand. I'm amazed they let it happen here. I'm amazed the Russians didn't flat out get pissed off that we would still play a level like that. But anyway, other side of things, you play as Roach, who is under the command of Soap. Surprising, you don't get to play as Soap yet. Basically, another bad nickname character. A friend of mine and I had a argument about that. Who has really the better name? Roach has a better name. Soap is just kind of, even Price said it. What kind of name is Soap? Anyway, back to the story. Soap and them were basically looking for Makarov after they find out about the attack. And they do other stuff, like they actually go find Price, who's been in a gulag. And Price is hell-bent on getting Makarov. Okay, then you take place as another American character by the name of Ramirez. Yeah, it didn't take long, but I figured it out. Ramirez, who joins in on the defense of America when America is attacked by Russia, which they have a little cutscene where they show the radars. This one place sees the attack force of Russia coming, and no one else can see it. Then they go toward Maryland, and they say, they're everywhere! Yes. Basically, most of that is defending Washington. There's actually a level where you go into the White House, and you have to defend Washington. At the end of the level, they were going to flatten the entire city. That's not one level, several. Then at the final level you play as again, you finally recapture Washington, and they do not blow it away. And at the end of the second one as Roach finds out that Shepard is actually working against him. Well, technically not. He says Soap says do not trust him. There's something wrong about him. One character in the game gets shot, then another. Roach gets shot, thrown to the ground. Then Ghost gets shot and thrown to the ground. Then they're burned alive. A lot of people had a problem with this because there was an actual discussion that Ghost and them actually said something, why are we wearing fireproof vests? That had a lot of people thinking, maybe Ghost does not die. Problem is, you never see him again. So, whatever. The game continues on, you play as Soap again. And he still talks. You know, they don't make him silent again. Him and Price go after Shepard. They completely forget about Makarov. They go after Shepard because of his betrayal of them. And they finally get a chance to fight Shepard after taking his plane down after a riveting boat sequence. Shepard punches or throws Soap's head into a car. He falls to the ground. Shepard takes out his knife and stabs Soap in the chest. That's where I thought, okay, the game is over. Nothing's going to happen now. Right when Shepard had about to fire the final blow with a magnum directly into his head, Price comes around, beats the living crap out of Shepard, but they do have a, altercation where they actually have a fight. Shepard's on top of Price, just bashing his brains in. Soap, there's a sequence where you have to pull the knife out of Soap's chest and throw it at Shepard's eye. Another problem people have with that, depending on how far the knife went, Shepard should not have died. There's a lot of characters that had their eyes, something happened to their eye, but they're still alive. Shepard gone. No one knows what happened. Now, time to get to the third and final. Modern Warfare 3. A little bit better. They changed the sounds of the weapons, AK-47s, everything, all that. The ACOG scope is actually different. It's not crosshairs. It's like a bottom crosshair like that, like a T. And it's like digitally red and everything. You play as Frost and Yuri. Main two people. You do get to play as Price at the end of the game. As Frost, you are defending New York City, I believe, what the city was. And you have to recapture the Russian president's daughter after plane crash. Anyway, Makarov causes a plane crash of the Russian president, kidnaps his daughter, and I do believe they kidnap him too. Yeah, they do. And basically hold him as ransom and try to continue the fight with America and Britain. Everybody, actually. Germany, Paris. You get to go to all these locations. The Eiffel Tower actually falls when you play as Frost. The levels are fairly decent. You're in, urban combat, which is always a plus for me. I like having it. You're not like in this desert. You're not in this snow place. You're not fighting these unknown locations. You're actually in these streets. You're actually in front of the Eiffel Tower trying to defend it, which ends up falling if you have played it. You know what happens. As Yuri, you are just a recruit by Nikolai, who has said he has a great hatred for Makarov. Always a good plus with Price there. Price hates Makarov, especially in this one. First sequences, as playing as Yuri, you have to repair. You have to heal up Soap because of his injuries. It takes place exactly after Modern Warfare 2 with that one. While you're doing that, you also have to shoot and defend him so he doesn't die, bleed out, everything like that. Eventually, Soap gets better, and he joins Price and Yuri with the missions. There's a lot of big sequences. This is what people hated about Call of Duty. Main people hated Call of Duty, like people who play Battlefield, people who play Halo. It's because the unrealistic kind of way on like how things happen. Yes, it's possible some of these things can happen, but the thing is, it happens way too fast. Like missile attacks. You're going through the missiles like on a boat. You have this slow motion part where you shoot at guys on another boat and land back in the water. Some of these things are so fantastic to play, it's almost unrealistic. Back to the story. You continue on through the game. Spoiler, if y'all are watching this right now, have not played it, don't want to know anything about the plot, you might want to stop the video now. Soap ends up dying. Yes, Soap dies. There's a sequence where they go through a hotel and they plot to kill Makarov that way. But Makarov figures it out. Kamarov, who was in the first game, is helping, but when Price goes to confront Makarov's men, he kills 2 or 3 of them. There's Kamarov inside of an elevator with bombs strapped around his chest. And there's another bomb where Soap and Yuri are at. So what happens? Both bombs go off. Soap gets badly burned and injured from the fall mainly. Yuri, not so much. He can still fight. Go through the level, gunning down people, get into a safe house. Soap is on a table, bleeding out, and what he says is, Makarov knows Yuri. Before all this happens, they're in the place, and he says, you should not be here, Yuri, or why are you here? So, Price and Yuri get ready to go off for the stairwell. Yuri opens the door, turns around, Price punches him in the face, knocks him down the stairs, and then you get to finally find out where Makarov's been throughout the first game, and mainly the first game, because you know where he is for the second. He's actually at the place where Price shoots the guy's arm off. So is Yuri, which would explain that Yuri is over 40 years old. Because that took place in 1996 with that level. And next game takes place in 2016. So Yuri has to be late 30s, early 40s. Then you find out Makarov was also at the place where the nuclear bomb went off that killed, I think, 100,000 people, what Shepard said. You also find out that Yuri was at the massacre level, but before it could even happen, Makarov shoots him because Yuri was telling him it was a terrible idea. Then Price believes him and says, you can stay with, if you can keep up, you can stay, but he still doesn't trust him. Further through the game, you play as Frost for another level, but the main level where you finally get to the president and everything, you're playing as Yuri. You get the president, and Frost and them end up getting his... No, they don't. Frost and them go after the daughter. The problem is the daughter is still captured. She's taken away. But main level, Yuri and them get the Russian president back. They get his daughter. Everything's fine. There's one more level. You get into the blast riot suits that can take massive damage. It's like wearing the Hulk skin. You play as Price in that level, where you finally get to see Yuri's face, and it is the second time you can hear him talk. You go through this level gunning down people. Eventually your suit gets messed up, and you have to get out of it, which is not a big deal because the big part's gone. Go up into this restaurant type area. It gets blasted by a helicopter rocket, thrown to the ground. Your guy gets thrown to the ground, and you look over and see Yuri, metal pole sticking out of his chest. It's like inches away from his heart. And Yuri says, forget about me, go get Makarov. Price gets up, runs after him. The helicopter he's about to go off on, he runs up to it, grabs onto it, takes out the two guys that are piloting it. Something happens. He crashes it back into the building. Then Price is on the ground, and he notices Makarov's getting off. They have a huge fight where Price bashes on his face, wraps a cord around his neck. I don't know if he shoots it out or punches it out or something. The glass. He comes down, holding on to Makarov's body. Bam! He falls off, hits the ground, not too far away from Makarov. The last scene you see is Makarov hanging there by his neck, and Price is lighting a cigar and put it in his mouth. Yuri's dead. That also happened in the fight. Yuri comes around, helps out Price. Yuri gets shot to death. And as far as you know, Price is dead. They just fade to black after he puts the cigar in his mouth. He's taken a lot of damage. You have to expect that he probably did. I did not rate the second one. I forgot to do that one. The second one will probably get the same as the first one, an 8 out of 10. You know, I'm a RPG fan by far, and shooter. Most of my games are shooters. I like longer shooters. Like Gears of War 3 was like 10 plus hours. 1 and 2 are still longer than the Modern Warfare games. I enjoy them a little bit more. Modern Warfare 2 will get a 8 out of 10. Not too many major problems, just the shortness of it. The graphics were still the same as the first one. You know, all they really did was add more weapons, and a little bit more textures, more colors. Call of Duty 3, I would still give it an 8. the main story with Price and Soap and all them was get Makarov, kill Makarov. There was no extra stuff there. Frost, on the other hand, you had a little bit more to do. There were different objectives. So, entire series, 8, because you can't have 8, 8, and 8 be a 9, anything like that. I'll give the total an 8. Major problems with all of them. They're 6 to 8 hours each, except for number 4 or 5 hours. Gaining collectibles, all that stuff, gone in number 3. I mean, there might still be there, but I never looked. Basically, the entire series gets an 8 out of 10. You can love the series, you can hate the series. It grossed a lot of money. I know a lot of fans would be pissed off they brought in a 4th one, which would be ridiculous. The fight with the Russians are over. Soap and Price's fight is done. There's nothing left to do. So, that's all I can say. The game series is good to me. I like playing them. I actually liked story-wise number 2, battle-wise number 3, and length-wise number 3. So, love it or hate it, that's Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3. This is Delta Merrix, signing out with another edition.